Hello everyone. This next video is actually two videos I put together. It's kind of what I do in Moscow. So one is on a Saturday night, to where I went to the center of Moscow. I went to a Russian and English club and at an anti-cafe, which is pretty interesting. And then the next one is what I did on Sunday. I went to my English club. So nothing special here, just kind of showing a little of what I do on the weekend when I don't have to worry about work. So here we go. Hello everybody. So I am here in the center of Moscow, just near Lubyanka Metro and Kuznetsky Most station. And today is Saturday and I'm going to a Russian speaking club. It's at an anti-cafe, which is just simply a cafe that doesn't sell anything. Instead, it sells time. So they check you in and you pay, I think it's 150 rubles an hour. And they have free drinks, tea, coffee drinks, cappuccinos, that kind of thing. And some really light snacks for free. And most of the people here at this club are students or academic people, somehow affiliated with the university, because there's teachers here, a lot of students here. So they have an English club that meets on Saturdays, a Spanish club, a Russian club, I don't know what else. So most of the people there are just to hang out and speak different languages, but it's a mostly younger crowd. So I came in from Lipetsk late Thursday night, really late. I went to bed right away. Errand I had to do, took me forever to get home, so I did that personal errand. By the time I got to my apartment, it was after midnight. So the next day I had my lesson at like 8 in the morning. I was tired, so I did the worst thing possible. I took a nap, and that just messes me up. I don't like taking naps. So then I have a Russian club on Friday nights when I'm in Moscow I like to go to, and I was just too tired, and I had a lot of stuff start to need my attention at work. So I had to make the decision just to hunker down and get ready for the storm, sort of. And I was right. It was a great decision, because about 5 o'clock Moscow time, I didn't stop working until about 2 in the morning. I probably had 4 conference calls, Zoom meeting, Teams meetings, countless telephone calls, so many issues, trying to work out. One of my commercial rentals had a small flood a couple weeks ago, and trying to get that resolved. That took about 5 or 6 phone calls. I had to get more people to come help, and I have a great maintenance man there that was really helping me. It was just a matter of me coordinating with him small things like where's the credit card and that kind of stuff. But each one of those small issues adds up, and it was an evening of work. And so today I wanted to make sure I made good use of coming to Moscow. So I said, you know what, I'm going to go at least somewhere. And my German friend who goes to all these clubs asked me to meet. And so that's what we're doing. We're going to meet a little before the club starts and get caught up on our lives, and then go to the meeting together. And then usually she goes her own way, and then I'll go back to my apartment and finish up getting ready to go back to Lipetsk on Monday. And then tomorrow, my English club that I like to go to, and I have a lot of friends there in Khimki, I'll make sure I go to that. So tomorrow I'll go to my favorite cafe in Khimki and do a lot of work during the day before the meeting, and then go to the meeting, and then usually we go out to dinner afterwards. And then I'm going to return back to Lipetsk on Monday. So now you know my plans. But here we are. This is a pretty central area in Moscow. I am on Lubyanka, and it's a pretty expensive area as well. So I don't really know what goes on in these buildings, but these are obviously government buildings. I do know in this area there is always a lot of security. It's a Russian government building. There's always police officers around, usually with weapons. I don't know what happens there, but it's always been that way. And this building here is really nice. There's a lot of big buildings here. And I know there's a German restaurant over here. I hung out and watched a German football match. That was fun, interesting. And then to the left over here, you can't see it, but it's a street where we meet at the anti-cafe. And by the way, at the anti-cafe, there's usually anywhere from 20 to 100 people there. And the anti-cafe here, and they're all over by the way, it's pretty interesting. It is, it's an old apartment. Someone took like a big apartment and just made it into a commercial space. And they left some things on the wall so it still looks like somebody's house. It's kind of interesting. But it's over here in the yellow building. So here we have a police officer directing traffic. One thing Russians love, at least in Moscow, is their black cars. It's so funny. They'll take a Mazda or a Toyota and put it black on black on black and think they're riding in a Mercedes. Kind of funny. But here's one of the best grocery stores in Moscow, Eurosport. Sorry, Eurospar. And I like it because they make fresh food ready to go, which for me today is good since I don't want to go to the grocery store and buy all kinds of groceries. I'm only going to be here for a day. And eating at restaurants in Moscow is not like eating at restaurants in Lipinsk. They're very expensive here. So there you go. I'm going to go meet my friend Natalie, who is inside eating. Hey everyone, I'm just leaving my Russian English club. Well, it's Russian club for like 3 hours and it's English club for like 2 hours. So I've been here like way too long, but met a lot of people, mostly young people, but there's a couple older people I had my age. I had some really good conversations with, but she just wanted to look around slowly. And up around the corner, it gets like really, really crowded. There's like a lot of people, but this is a very, I don't want to say trendy, but it's a place where there's a lot of young people come. But of course, outside the restaurants, you can see all the smokers. But there we are. So I am going to go to the store because the store here is really nice. It has some food that the other stores don't have, and I will go home. So I need to go home домой. На метро. Electrichka. So I don't live in the city center, so it's going to take me a good hour to get home. But you don't really notice it. You walk to the metro. Metro here is like less than 5 minutes. On a metro for like 30 something minutes, and then it's like a 10-minute walk to the Electrichka. Electrichka is 15 minutes, and then it's like 5 minutes to my house. By the time you add it all up, it's like an hour. But you know, that's Russia. So they get really great transportation, but it's not short for where I live. But there's lots of restaurants here, so many restaurants. And I think it's just crazy. I'm just trying to show you some of the places. Cafes, restaurants, just everywhere. And you know, I spent a big part of the summer in Europe. And of course, there's cafes and restaurants everywhere in Europe. And I was so excited to go to Europe. And when I got to Europe, it's not my first time in Europe, I realized, you know, Russia has the same thing. So I'm quite happy with Moscow. And this area is a very expensive area. I keep seeing so many G-Wagons. And I came across this that I have to show everybody. Is this motorcycle. It's nothing fancy, it's a little older. This is a Suzuki Bandit 1200. I had this motorcycle. I sold it years back, but I had that. It doesn't look like much, but it's a 1200cc engine, which it has the Hayabusa engine. And for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, the Hayabusa is the Gixxer. It's a GSXR. It goes 200 plus miles an hour. So it's a badass bike. Now that one's not it, but it has the same engine. It's more of a upright for older people who can't bend their bodies to be on the couch rockets. But I like it. It's very nice. But so I'm going. There's a lot of people out tonight. Lots of people, which is nice to see. Try and turn so you can do a view. Nothing special, just the city. Okay, see you later. So, hanging out in my favorite cafe in Khimki. Of course, it's dark time, but not getting dark. But it's one of my favorite times of the year. Fall, of course, anywhere, but it's also one of my favorite times in Khimki, just because it has lots of trees, and they've got some streets lined with trees, as you can see. And in the daytime, you can see it much better. The trees are all yellow. Right now, they all seem kind of wet and green. Sorry, I have to walk across the street, so I have to be. So I'm on my way to my English club. And I know it seems weird that I'm in Russia and I'm going to an English club, but to be honest, socially, it was the best things I've ever did, because I have a core group of friends here in Khimki, about 4 or 5, that we do stuff outside of the group. I mean, I went ice skating. Well, this group I didn't go ice skating, but I've been to dinner several times, went to the movies, hung out at coffee shops, lots of restaurants. So it's really cool, and a couple of them have helped me out a lot. I had some issues with the bank and my wife wasn't here, so they came to the bank to help me. So it's a really good network of people, and I believe they enjoy having me to help with their English as a native speaker. A lot of English clubs actually pay for native English speakers to attend their club. Of course, I would never do that. I wouldn't take their money. But this group does it. This is a free group. We meet at the public library, and we rotate leaders, and I've led several times. So tonight, I'm not leading. Just gonna see what happens. But here, Khimki. Khimki is in Moscow Oblast, but it's not part of the city. I like it. It's a little quieter, but still traffic's kind of crazy. But it's a nice area. In the future, I'm looking to move south so I can go to and from Lipetsk much faster. I'll save, depending on traffic, anywhere from an hour to 2 hour drive if I live a little south. Not even all the way crazy south, but at least south of the brown line. And that's where I'm looking. As close to the brown line as I can get, but south of it. And the green line's my favorite line, and because everywhere I go in downtown Moscow is almost always on the green line, or one station away from the green line. So I'm going to stay on the green line. And what's nice is the green line, the major highway right above the green line, turns into the M4 when it crosses the MCUD, which is the road that takes me to Lipetsk. So for me, it makes perfect sense to be on the green line, as close as I can get to the city, which is somewhere around Techno Park. Techno Park's a little too new for me. Used to be big manufacturing plant during the Soviet Union time there, plants, and they've kind of taken all the space now and filled it with new. So everything is new there, and to be quite honest, it's not my style. So I'll go a little above that or a little below it and be happy. So here I am at the bibliothèque and going into my meeting.